Members of the media, this is South Africa from the UN. Excellencies, delegates, members of the media, we wish to express our sincerest gratitude to member states at the UN General Assembly for supporting South Africa's candidacy for the non-permanent seat of the Security Council for the period 2019-2020. We are honored and humbled with this gesture and confidence. As you know, this will be South Africa's third term in the United Nations Security Council, having previously served between 2007 and 2008, and again between 2011 and 2012. Our tenure at the Security Council will be dedicated to the legacy of Nelson Mandela, our icon, and his commitment to peace. In marking this centenary this year, there will be a peace summit here in the UN General Assembly in September, at which we will be unveiling his statue to the public. South Africa will use this particular tenure in the Security Council to promote the maintenance of international peace and security through advocating for peaceful settlements of disputes and inclusive dialogue. We will continue to enhance close cooperation between the UN Security Council and other regional and sub-regional organizations. During our two previous tenures, we advocated for closer cooperation between the UN Security Council and the African Union, which culminated in the adoption of the landmark Resolution 2012 on strengthening cooperation between these two bodies. South Africa's diplomatic efforts over the past 2 decades include conflict resolution, it included prevention in cases where it was possible, it included mediation, a lot of peacekeeping and peace building. We will firmly continue on that path because we believe that in this particular situation, we will be used at the disposal of the Security Council to address all those problems that confront us, especially in our continent. We're particularly interested in ensuring that we address the root causes of these problems and ensure that as we go into this era, we have identified what the root causes are. We believe that peace cannot be achieved without the participation of women in peace negotiations, in peacekeeping operations, and post-conflict peace building and governance. During our tenure, we will ensure that a gender perspective is mainstreamed into all Security Council resolutions in line with the United Nations Security Council Resolution 1325 of 2000 on women, peace and security. As we assume the non-permanent seat, we look forward to collaborating with members of the Security Council in promoting and maintaining international peace and security and social well-being and the advancement of all peoples of the world. We are guided by the resolution of the AU that we shall silence guns by 2020. Only when we have peace and a culture of peace can we have sustainable development. And we in Africa need that most. Our energies have been directed at the betterment of our peoples, and therefore we need to make sure that we are able to silence our guns in our lifetime. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Madam Minister. My name is Abdul Hamid Sayam from the Arabic Daily Al-Quds Al-Arabi. My first question, don't you think that South Africa is qualified to be a permanent member of the Security Council? That's one question. And the second, do you think that the Palestinians can depend on your friendship and support in their struggle for independence and freedom? Thank you very much.
The first one was not a question, it was an assertion by yourself, and thank you very much for the confidence that you're showing in us. If you'll allow me then to go on to the second one. We have been very involved in the Palestinian matter, in resolving the problems that the Palestinians are confronted with, and we will continue to do so. We are engaged right now with Jewish Board of Directors and the rabbi in South Africa to see how we can continue in making sure that we continue on the peace settlements that we have been part of. I would like to think that in our time we will be able to find peace between Palestine and Israel. But the Palestinian people can rely on us very definitely. Thank you.
On recent reports of expropriation of farmland
yes.
in South Africa and what seems to be steps backwards from Mr. Mandela's policy of reconciliation. Thank you.
Yes. The expropriation of land is a clause that is in our constitution. Our constitution is a democratic instrument that was adopted by Parliament. It allows us to expropriate land so that we are able to give land to people who will work on the land. We have decided that the matter will be discussed and settled in Parliament in a democratic process. Therefore, the insinuation that comes from you that we are taking a step back is not correct, because this constitution that guides us to allow us to expropriate land was in Mandela's hands, and his signature is on the constitution. What we're doing is a democratic responsibility of a democratic government to make sure that all have access to land so that they have means to live. And we will do it in such a way that everybody is able to participate and is happy with the outcome. We have heard of exaggerated opinions about land grabs. That will not happen in South Africa, I can assure you. Thank you.
Western Sahara is an item on the Security Council's agenda, which rarely gets discussed publicly in front of the Council. There's a group of friends that doesn't include any African members. I wonder, now that you're coming on the Council, what do you think of the current situation between the Polisario and Morocco, and what do you think you can bring to the table as a Council member?
Well, Morocco is now part of the African Union, bound by the articles and prescripts of the African Union. Western Sahara and ourselves, especially Polisario, have been very good friends right through the struggle. We owe it to both peoples to make sure that we can have a peaceful settlement in that particular area, and we've made it very clear that our position is such that we support the Polisario people for their right to land, and we will also accept the fact that Morocco is part of the AU, and we will treat them as a member state bound by the prescripts of the AU. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Shauna McGee from Kyoto News. As an incoming member to the Council, what ideas do you have to promote the denuclearization of North Korea, as that's an effort that's going on right now, especially against the backdrop of the summits? Thank you for any comments.
Also, that was an echo. But we can have a one-on-one. We'll have a one-on-one. If you'll allow me. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.